Good to have you here tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
What do you make of the charge or the call to step down to Chairman Nunes by Chuck Schumer?
I just love it when Senator Schumer gives Republicans advice on what we ought to do. Devin is doing exactly what the chairman hopes he ought to do. When you have a source that has information, you handle that information safely, securely, which is exactly what he did. I wish Senator Schumer and some of the other Democrats would be more interested in the authenticity and the reliability of the underlying data and not the means by which it was acquired. Whether it's the White House or Waffle House, what difference does it make if the information is reliable and authentic? It just so happens Devin had to do it this way. So we're not going to take advice from Senator Schumer on who our chair people ought to be.
All right. So, everybody obviously has been wondering who the source is on this. Who called him? There's a story about how he received a text in his car. He was with other staffers. Just got out of the car quickly, left, went over to the White House, we now know, viewed those documents, and then the next day goes back to show them to the president. So that sort of lines up to appear that the person who revealed all this to him is either in the White House or was associated with the White House. Now, the narrative on that has changed a bit in the past two press briefings. Let's watch.
Will you rule out that the White House or anyone in the Trump administration gave Chairman Nunes that information?
I'm not aware of it, but it doesn't really pass the smell test.
It appears there was some degree of cooperation in this process that the White House granted Chairman Nunes.
I will be glad to take a look at that and figure out whether or not that is an accurate statement or not.
All right, so the door's open now to the possibility that it came from the White House. Does that matter? Why?
Devin hasn't told us it came from the White House. I don't think the source matters, Martha, nearly as much as whether or not the underlying information is authentic and credible. Keep in mind, Devin has also said this has nothing to do with Russia. And for those who missed it the first time he said it again, nothing to do with Russia. So if we've gotten to the point where the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee cannot go gather information related to our surveillance programs and cannot update the commander-in-chief on the nature of that information, we're in a really strange place. I realize that Democrats don't like the fact that President Trump won, but he did. And Devin is the chairperson of the Intelligence Committee. He has an obligation to update the commander-in-chief on information like this.
So there was supposed to be a hearing to move this ball a little bit further. That open hearing was canceled, and now the closed hearing is also in question, where you all would like to question again the FBI Director Comey and the head of the NSA as well. Where does that stand? Are you going to have that hearing?
I hope we have it at some point. I hope it's behind closed doors or confidentially, like every other serious investigation is run. Almost 100 times, Director Comey and Admiral Rogers said they could not answer the question in that setting. Almost 100 times. So if you really are on a quest for the truth, a quest for facts, why you would pick a forum which guarantees the witnesses cannot answer the question befuddles me. So I would love to bring them back. We have to bring them back. They are foundational, seminal witnesses. But almost 100 times they said they couldn't answer in a public setting.
Gotcha.
So I don't know why we'd go back that way.
All right, quickly. Mr. Kushner, Jared Kushner, is going to answer questions about his meeting with a Russian banker whose bank was under sanctions at the time. What are your questions? What would you want to know about that relationship?
Well, that's going to be a Senate investigation. The Senate, he's going to give testimony before the Senate. Martha, I'm easy. I want to know every fact that there is to know relevant to our jurisdiction. So anything dealing with Russia, anything dealing with the felonious dissemination of classified material, access the witnesses, access the documents, and ask all of the questions in a credible, serious way, which means do our investigation the way every other serious investigation in the country is done, which is behind closed doors until you have something to report.
Chairman Gowdy, good to see you today. Thank you very much for being